Wow, we're like pumping these out. I feel like we're really on a roll. It's week after week. I just almost called you Remy. That's my dog's name. I think I say her name too many times in a day. But look at us.
Remy, stop. Remy, get down. Remy, don't do that.
And then all of the research and like YouTube videos I see about training your dog, they constantly say, do not say your dog's name so much, because eventually they'll just stop listening to you. It's like when your kids go, Dad, Dad, Dad. Eventually. What's up, y'all?
I love it. I'm loving the energy.
Well, welcome back to the Runners Club podcast. As you know, I am your co-host, Courtney Phillips.
Ian Gonzalez in here, you feel me?
And we actually have some guests today. Ian, you are back from your 50k, and we will get into that.
I'm back. My leg's not. My leg's still on a trail in Bandera, Texas, somewhere on a mountain they like to call hills.
Dodging rocks, okay, up and down, all of these things. But again, I don't want to get into it yet because you have convinced Rosalie and Karen to hop on.
Right. It was a lot of hard work. You know what I'm saying? I had to come to the table correct. You know, it was a lot. I had to really kind of like get in the minutia of the negotiations to bring this deal together, to get these two strong female athletes on this podcast.
Yeah. And for those, I think we've mentioned this once or twice before, but both of these runners are 7onSundays runners, and they, squad. And they have refused to come on the podcast, even though we've asked very politely more than once. And by we, I mean Ian.
Yes.
So,
Rosalie not so much, but Karen was the hard no.
No.
She was in the room. It was like,
pass. Yeah. But before we have them jump on.
Yeah, before we do all of that, I want to spend some time with you. You know what I'm saying? I missed you. How are you? How are you feeling?
You know, I missed you too. And this is why this works, you know, Ian, because like, I don't think people understand like how much we love each other. And I think people don't believe us.
You know, it is what it is. Either y'all hear and y'all understand, or you hear and you're trying to figure it out. But this is my person right here.
We go way back, as in 2 years ago.
Straight up. But like,
but that was
training for these races. It's like going to fucking war.
You get to know runners quickly. You go from like acquaintance to running buddy very fast. And that just escalates from there.
Yeah. And me and Courtney, we a lot alike. It's unnecessary.
And different in all the right ways as well.
This is true.
Can you tell me about your week though? Besides your 50K?
I mean, everything leading up to it was pretty regular. Like I was in the store hanging out with August, you know what I'm saying? Who was really dope. Like, cause he don't eat. Like, I don't know what's up with his diet. Like, you know, the doctors keep letting us know, like, nah, everything, all the levels are right. He growing, this, that, and the third. But like he has 5 things that he eats and stuff like that. And those 5 things swaps out, but it's never more than 5 things. And at any given moment, he could decide he only wants 2 out of those 5 things for that period of time.
With no negotiation.
A weird guy as far as food goes. Like it's strange, right? But I guess he got hungry, like because he went back to his mom's house on Thursday. So I had him. So that Wednesday, I made him a quesadilla. You know what I'm saying? I gave him the Chihuahua cheese, the Mission corn tortillas. You know, I didn't flip them over. I just did one tortilla on top of the other one. You feel me? I passed it on to him. I cooked it up in some olive oil, gave it to him. He was like, Dad, this is good. And so that was one down. He was like, can I have another, like about 30 minutes later, can I have another quesadilla? I was like, yeah. Boom.
Wow.
5 minutes later, can I have another quesadilla? Boom. Boy was up to like 3-4 quesadillas by the time we was done. And the third one, I kind of forgot that I was cooking and kind of burnt one side of it a little bit. So I tried to play it off. I'm like, all right, this is a tortilla. You know, a little char on it don't really kill it, right? But August be inspecting his food before he eat it. Like he smell it, he look at it, all that, right? Touch it. And so he look at it like, Dad, this one kind of burned. And I was like, yeah, you want me to just make you another one? So he sit down, he look at it, he go, after this one.
He said, I'm still eating it.
I'm gonna eat this one. We cool. So it was a good day. That was honestly the highlight of my week. It's like up there with the trail race.
I feel like everyone assumes that their child is not going to be a picky eater, and then they have a child.
And honestly,
because it has nothing to do with their parent. What?
Julius was not a picky eater. Only thing Julius needed was it to be in between 2 pieces of bread. If you can make it into a sandwich, he would eat it. That was really it. And stuff. And that was only a phase. August, he can go all day without eating. But he can have some grapes in the morning and be like, if you're not gonna give me what I want, I don't need to eat today. Just give me some juice or some milk.
He said, I'm good. Wow. That's a highlight. Shout out to August. Growing.
We had a spectrum. I'm sorry, I know this is a running podcast, but now you got me started on my child. But there was a spectrum because that was how the week ended.
Yeah.
Monday night, we got into a whole physical altercation.
We literally recorded though. So was it after the recording?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we got into a physical altercation.
August was throwing hands.
August was pissed. It might have been Tuesday. I don't know. He was. I mean, I saw him wild out like I've never seen him wild out before and stuff like that. So I had to boss up and just like go just get really put my foot down like really proper on him, and it was wild. It was like he figured it out. He figured it out because it was like at one point he had threw his milk down on the floor. So I came in the bedroom and I took the milk. I was like, "Oh, you gonna disrespect my cup like that?" This is me and my 4-year-old talking, right? Because I forget what happened, but he did something, and I was like, "Well, you can't sleep with your iPad." Or something like that. Or it was just time for me to take his iPad back. So that's what he was mad about. So I was like, you gonna disrespect my cup like that? So I took the cup back. He was like, I want to watch something. So I closed the door. I'm like, you're not drinking no milk none tonight, right? And so I'm going to close the door. No, okay. So I leave the door. I close the door and stuff like that. Now he in that mad because now he thirsty. You know, now he wants some milk and stuff. So I come back in there like 5 minutes later. He's like, no, you in here hollering, screaming. You're not going to get nothing. I'm not giving you no milk. If you're going to throw it down on the floor, that's it. We going back and forth. So finally I said, you know what? I'm done talking to you. I'm leaving. So all of a sudden he goes, wait. I'm sorry.
No, he did not.
Now, mind you, this was a 40-minute battle. I had to cut some of this story out because on a podcast, I don't want people judging my parenting, but like this is a 40-minute situation, okay? And so this is the end of the 40 minutes when I'm like, I'm done. I'm not gonna keep having this conversation with you. I'm leaving the room. Wait. I'm sorry. And so I said, what are you sorry about? I'm sorry about yelling. I'm sorry about throwing the milk. Clear as day, no baby talk. I'm sorry about yelling. I'm sorry about throwing the milk on the floor.
He's grown.
And I was like, okay. If you're sorry and you're not going to do it again, I'll bring you your milk back. You're not getting an iPad, and we're done with this for the rest of the night. He was like, I'm going to breathe. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to breathe.
Wow.
Okay. So I went and got his milk, brought her back in there, kissed him on his forehead. That little Negro went straight to sleep.
You know, I feel like that's something he learned from like watching cartoons.
I don't know. You know what?
I'm going to breathe.
It
has to. He watched so much YouTube.
I really don't know. I don't know if he got it from. Well, I don't know where he got it from, but he sprung that on me like a few weeks ago when he saw me getting upset. He was like, Dada, breathe. That's like, okay, you're right, because I'm getting frustrated here. He's like, Dada, breathe.
Russell told me to breathe last week, and I said, do not tell me to breathe. Leave me alone.
But yeah, I had a week with my 4-year-old, with August, man, my 4-year-old, 40-year-old.
Wow. August is like, I don't know. We need to get him up on our social media or something, because I know people want to know what August looked like.
I
guess I can just check your Instagram.
Yeah, he's there. I don't know. That kid is a wild kid, man. But I love him to death. So highly intelligent, highly beautiful. But he showed his rare naked ass this week. It was crazy. It's the first time I've ever seen him act like that.
Wow.
But I think he's just so accustomed to getting his way, though, that he was just like, he just emotionally could not
shut down. I'm going to need you to tell Karen. I'm going to need you to tell Karen to wait 5 minutes, because she just tried to hop on the Zoom. She's trying to be early, you know?
She punctual.
I'm going to need you to tell her, just calm down.
Just calm down.
Maybe do some squats, but come back in a second. Do what you need to do, sis. Get some water. Okay? I haven't even done my
talking about
yet.
her, man. She ready.
I know. She mad ready. She's a runner.
I appreciate you for being ready.
Mm-hmm. You got 5 minutes.
What about you, man? How was your week?
My week has been good. So technically last week, it was the first full week of the new year. And so I killed it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I came into the week with low standards, because I like to be patient with myself, allow myself to kind of be motivated as I am, but then also I know how to kick it into gear when I need to. I guess I'm just on top of things. I'm getting a head start on my taxes. I'm doing the grown up stuff, making sure Russell gets into physical therapy, and he's starting an acting class next month. So I'm trying, figuring some things out with him. Yeah, he got accepted into an acting class.
Okay.
He worked really hard to get into it, so I'm really proud. But just trying to make sure he's good. I posted on TikTok today for the first time, officially. I technically had a video, but then I deleted it. So this is my first one. I didn't do a dance. No, what is that accent? I did not do a dance. I've been watching too much Emily in Paris, and I'm honestly embarrassed, because why do I like that show so much?
I keep hearing about this show, man.
Look, everybody was hating on that show, because they're like, no, anybody want to see this white girl in Paris, But then I watched it having nothing else to watch. It's good. Okay. Just finished season 2. I also, with Matthew, this past week has been a good week for TV shows. Last night was a premiere of season 2, Euphoria. Wow. Also last week I finished Welcome to Earth, hosted by Will Smith on the National Geographic channel. That nigga is a whole explorer.
Okay.
I highly suggest that show. Low key, it's goals. I would love to host a nature explorer show. I would love that, honestly. So,
I can see that.
Right? I can see it too.
I can see you in a rainforest, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So seeing him do it, I'm like, yes.
Marc Jacob rain boots.
All everything, all the gear, and the most where am I? Most beautiful, yes. Strangest, eating weird things, seeing amazing.
Okay,
yes.
That's wild.
I need to do that. So
the
country, the safari, the jungle, wherever you need me, I'll go. So that show, and then I don't know why I keep going, because I'm at this point, I don't know. But other than that, I've been good. I'm just trying to get work done. It's Monday again. Getting after the week as much as I can. I have to say that I am sad that I am not running. And I know this is a running podcast, but I don't have any running update other than I'm just building strength in my hip.
Yeah, no, we listen.
That's
For
all
all
I
of
got.
those who follow, we see the gym mirror pics. We know that you are working, and as I have said, oodles of times, being in the gym, strength training, building your body up is part of the running journey. So,
thanks, Ian.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm deep down very sad about it.
Weights, you want to see what them weights looking like.
Yeah.
With 10s, 20s, what we lifted. What you bench press?
I don't even want to tell people any of my process anymore. I am officially underground. You will never see me ever again. That's how I feel.
Dude, what you got on the weights?
Look, I haven't even been on my weights recently. I literally have been on the treadmill on a high incline, pushing that thing up to like 3.5 in speed, because I cannot run. So I'm trying to get as close to something that feels like running.
That's interesting. Me and Karen got a lot to say about our knees.
I bet you. Yeah. Last thing I'll say is resistant bands, making a commitment to doing that daily. I'm trying to get in the gym at least 3 times during the work week, like you were talking about, and then maybe once on the weekend. I'm not trying to overdo it because a part of me almost felt like I needed to be in the gym every day.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm like, no.
Over conversation.
Yeah, I'm not running, so I must need to be here every day. But realistically, that's not good either. So I keep staring at that pool every time I check in at the gym because you can see the pool through the glass at the checkout. And so I'm like,
should keep your cardio good.
Look, I don't have braids right now. I have a head, a swim cap. I have goggles. I have a proper Speedo. I have no excuse. And I go early, so there's no one in the pool. So
do it.
Yeah. Hopefully my goal for myself is by next week, my next update will be about me swimming. At least once.
Let's go.
Cool. All right. So with that, let's take a quick break, and I'm going to bring on Karen and Rosalie, and we'll get into the interview. Okay. Welcome back. We're refreshed, and we now have Karen and Rosalie on. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So just for our listeners, because again, everything is audio. Rosalie, can you just say hi and give us oh, I was gonna be and then give us something, tell us something about yourself. But it's ultimately, I think, why don't you guys just do quick little intros on yourself? Nothing too long because we'll get into the ultra, but just so we can hear your voice and the listeners can, because there's 4 of us, so we got to get some definition.
My name is Rosalie Shu. I am 28, almost 29. I've been in Chicago for 5 years and grew up in the suburbs of Detroit. And I have been through several quarter-life crises. I think I'm currently coming out of my 3rd one.
Your 3rd one?
And I also, another fun fact is I overshare, I guess.
I didn't hear what you said. You said you came out of what?
My 3rd quarter-life crisis. I'm coming out of my 3rd quarter-life crisis right now. It's related to the ultra running, as all ultra runners will tell you.
Wow.
Courtney, you look so concerned right now.
Just because I went through a whole thing, even just training for the ultras, and then not running it was also a lesson. So it was just a lot of things that came to the surface for me.
Triggered, Courtney.
Very triggered. Very.
You went back to a dark place right there. Right, y'all could have seen her face. She just went somewhere.
Karen, keep your intro generic.
I will.
Oh my God.
I'm Karen Thomas. Since we said our age, I'm 35. I am a mother. I'm an educator. And I like running.
Is she fine as you?
Okay, so that's Ian's boo. They're each other's boo.
Yes, also that.
I know.
I love it.
I mean, we be around. You know what I'm saying? I've seen other places. Hey, yo, this is the squad first and foremost. These are the 7onSundays runners right here. These are some of
women runners.
Yeah, these are some of the first women to run with 7onSundays and stuff like that. I think honestly, two out of the three biggest reasons why we have so many more runners, because it's like they started running with us consistently. Them and I want to say Run Mommy Kiera came in and stuff, and it's just like everybody's like,
yeah, Kiera was for me, actually.
This isn't a male-led Bible study crew that runs. Anybody can come. And so these are my people. I love them. Like, I enjoy them. They have been amazing. And also the unnecessary reason why I ran 31 miles in the fucking wilderness this weekend. Oh my God. The things you do for women.
I blame Rosalie, though. Rosalie's the one that asked him.
Well, I mean, to that point, though, what can you guys tell us? Okay, name of the race, where it was, and how, like, I mean, you said the 50K, so 31 miles, but Rosalie, you didn't run 100 miles, you ran 100K. So I just want, I know I heard that.
Running 100 miles is not on my horizon for the next few years at the very least. But yeah, this race was the Bandera 100K and 50K. They also have a 25K. It's outside San Antonio in like rural area called Bandera. It's a pretty
Texas cowboy capital of the country.
Oh,
yeah.
It was wild out there. I mean, I've never been to Texas, but it was like really different terrain. And it's a pretty major race in the ultra running world because, it's sponsored by Hoka, and then it's also what they call a golden ticket race for Western states. And then Western states is like the Boston Marathon of American trail running. It's like the most premier, hardest 100-miler to get into. So a lot of athletes like Bandera, because the top two female and the top two male finishers in the 100K get automatic entries to the Western states. So it's like a pretty big, this race is like a pretty big deal, but nobody's like us can also sign up. So it's awesome.
Right. So, and the Western states is 100 miles.
Correct.
Right. And that's a pretty big deal as far as the trail running community goes.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, how I started getting into dabbling with possibly doing 100Ks was because I wanted to do Western states sometime in my lifetime. So this Bandera race was my second attempt at getting another lottery entry to Western states.
Hey.
How long does a lottery last? Or is it just like if you do it that year, that means you're going to be doing the other race the same year, the year after that? Yeah.
So because the demand for Western states is so high, you have a really complex lottery system. So basically, you can only enter the lottery once per year. And to enter, you need to run a list on their qualifying list, which all of them are at least 100K. A lot of them are like 100 miles. And then some of them have finishing time. So Bandera's was 100K, 17 hours. And then every time you run a qualifying race, you get one chance to enter the lottery. And you can only enter once a year at most. And then the number of years that you don't get picked. So let's say like now I have my second entry. So this December, I'm going to enter the lottery. I'll have 2 to the second power number of tickets. So people who have like 5 years worth of tickets. Yeah. So your chances double each year essentially. So people who have 5 years of tickets have 2 to the 5th power. So 32 tickets.
Oh, so your percentage of tickets in the bucket goes up.
Yeah, exactly. And and I think right now it takes like 6 or 7 years to get picked on average. Some people get picked in their first year. Yeah.
To run 100 miles.
But it's
that's
like
brutal.
The Boston Marathon of Travel.
I think that's amazing. When I signed up for the 50K that I was going to do, they had all 4 of like the major ultras. So it was the 50K, 50 miler, 100K, 100 miler. So immediately my mind was like, what is it like to run 100 miles? But let me do all the other ones first. I mean, I want to talk to both of you guys. I want to talk to all 3 of you. I feel a little overwhelmed, to be honest. But Rosalie, have you done a 50K and a 50 miler, or did you just jump straight into 100K?
Oh no, I would never do that. So I didn't even get into running. Like I got into running accidentally. Like I never thought I would run more than a 5K 6 years ago. So I have to do things gradually. And I remember every distance that I went up, like my first half, like 3 months before my first half, I told my friend I will never in my life run a half marathon. And then signed up for a 10K. It went well. Then I was like, okay, I'll sign up for a half. And then I trained for that. It went well. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a full. And then the same story just kind of happened. And then a few people told me about 50Ks. So I've done a few road 50Ks and they were hard.
Wait. We're not going to gloss over your road 50K career. It was one that you did really well in. Which one was that one?
The Lakefront 50K.
Which was last fall, yeah.
This was like fall 2020, yeah. But Ian, you have to understand, these are small races. The field is not...
No. What was your place in that race?
Wasn't that 2021 though? Wasn't that literally like few months ago?
That was the second time I've done that race.
So you're just saying it wasn't as good as the first time?
That was the third time I've done that race. Wow, okay, I guess...
And then what did you place in that race, Rosalie?
Okay, the second time I've done that race, I won it. But it was like...
the second time I did it, I
won the women, not overall.
So?
And then this past fall, I ran a little bit faster, but I only got there.
See, this is why we need you on. We need to hear these stories, okay?
Right. The conversation she's having is like different because I'm participating. She's talking about like in the champions pools. Like
she said, I won. No big deal.
I won the third time.
But you have to understand, these are small races. Like at Bandera, I didn't even get in the top 50 percentile of women in my division. I got like 7th out of 13.
7th out of what?
13.
Okay.
But
that's other people.
That's top 10, right? So also, you said 7th out of 13 in your age
group. So women in their 20s.
I still count that.
Yes.
I count that also.
Okay.
Did you get you needed to get less than 17 hours? I think I saw somewhere that was like 16 or something.
Yeah, a little over 14 hours. 14.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So blew the time qualification out of the water. And that is why you're in the lottery.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Clarifications. I hope our listeners understand the gravity of what we're talking about.
She's like, I ran a 50K. I think I cured cancer at like mile 23.
Okay, Ian, I'm just a regular person. I got into this sport accidentally, okay?
And that's what's great about it.
You intentionally
you too. You both know. You both got into this accidentally. Just someone at one point talked you into it.
I feel like we were forced. But also, I'm just kidding. But Rosalie is an amazing runner, and I feel like this is a good point just to say it. Like, she is an amazing runner, and she gets down to the science of it, and she takes it very seriously, and she's like an inspiration.
Mm.
All the 7 women, Rosalie is an inspiration to all of us, and I feel confident saying that for everyone. Speaking for them all.
Yeah.
So, Karen, what is your story? How did you get into running this 50K? And this is your first, right?
Yes. So this was my first. What is the story? So
don't gloss over. Are we going to gloss over the fact that this is her longest race, longer than a half marathon?
Whoa. So you skipped a marathon.
Ian, you didn't call her out. You called me out.
Yeah, I did.
I was waiting on the perfect time.
I was not interested in a marathon, specifically a road. Like I would do a marathon on a trail. So that's my thing. I like trails, which is why I've looked into trail running, which they're usually ultras. So I think that's why the interest was there. And then I met Rosalie, and that kind of made it a reality. And so, that's why I did this 50K. My plan is to get really fast at the half. And during like the summer, and then during winter, do ultras. Like that's my plan, and get better at ultras. So, that's why I tried this first one.
Another was the Southside Half Marathon. I think that's another Hoka race, right? The ones that runs through
in September.
I did. Yeah, I did the Hoka half. Yeah.
So, and that's the one you're trying to kill. You're trying to win that, right?
No, I'm not trying to win that. I don't think that's possible for me. But no, I'm trying to get in the low 120s. Like 1 hour, 20 minutes. 23, 24, 25. I'll take.
What was your time? What was your time for the previous one?
1 hour, 32 minutes and 24 seconds.
Was that not
Okay.
your first?
That was my third. Second that I read. So the first one was actually the road less travel.
Oh,
Racist.
Thank you for participating.
It was really fun. So that was my first one. Totally didn't train for it. Loved it. And then I did another one, but I think it was just more practice within my training.
Mm-hmm.
The coach had me do it to practice because I was really nervous about races. So I think I just did it to get some fear out. So I wasn't running it because it was very close to the Hoka half. So I wasn't supposed to go that fast at all. And then I did the Hoka. Seriously.
The Hoka was her first race.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was fun.
Damn. Okay, so you like trail. Why?
I don't know. It's just my happy place. Mm-hmm. I get lost easier on the trail. I feel like I can just run forever on a trail. I don't really get negative on a trail.
That's so true. Like, what are you going to be negative about? Even when it's raining, even when the conditions aren't like perfect, but it's like, those are those moments that you can learn and kind of learn something about you as a runner and how you move a little bit differently and prepare for any climate when you're actually racing.
And I like to be in nature.
Yeah.
It's like my spot to kind of debrief and be with myself. So.
And so then you were like 50K.
Yeah, well, Rosalie was like, hey, I'm doing this 100K. There's a 50K. You should do it too.
How many weeks did you have to train?
I don't know, Rosalie. When did Rosalie is now my coach as well. 8 weeks. Yeah. And then I had some shin splints. I'm assuming they're shin splints. That's my medical diagnosis. And so I took a few weeks, like 2 weeks off. Also kind of got sick over the holidays. So took that a little easy too. So I feel like I was kind of undertrained, because I was not being diligent with Rosalie's plan like I should have been. And I also wasn't doing some strength exercises that I had done previously, like over the summer training for the half. So I don't know.
I think Rosalie is probably, you and Rosalie are probably the best trained athletes on this podcast right now.
You talking about?
Courtney and Rosalie.
Well, I mean, I saw Courtney's training on Strava and it was like very consistent.
Yeah. That's true. Consistency was there, but then it fell off a cliff. So I am out of shape. Okay. To my own standards. I'll put it that way.
But your body will remember, when you get back to it.
Yeah.
Right, I feel like it only ever takes like 2 weeks for your body to remember. Yeah.
Oh, I'm here for that. She said it only takes about 2 weeks. And I felt,
That's
Do I believe it? I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to the gym. We were just talking about it during our little intro. And I'm like, I'm very sad. I'm very upset about not being able to run. It's a big sore spot for me. So, yeah.
That's a move. It's really interesting. Karen's talking about, just getting lost on the trail because I've run marathons. I've done these 3, 4, 5 hours runs and stuff like that. But I find on the road, it's like if I'm not listening to music, I'm not running with somebody, I don't have a podcast in my ear, it's really hard to find some kind of focus that'll keep me truly in the moment and stuff like that. I'm always, trying to find something, whether it's my legs or my breathing. I'm really trying to stay concentrating, trying to keep my focus on the activity at hand. Whereas what I realized, this was the longest run I've ever done, not even in mileage, was just time. I ran for 8 hours and 20 minutes. And most of that just flew by because my mind was so preoccupied with the millions of fucking rocks that was on the ground waiting to take my life,
And the cacti, you can't forget about those.
It was wild because, I kid you not, I couldn't. I don't know why I didn't think to look at my phone as to what time it actually was, but my Garmin, when it's in run mode, there's no clock and stuff. So my fear was once I passed the halfway mark, like I forgot what time I started. But once I passed the halfway mark and I saw that it took me 3 hours and 40 minutes to do that, in my mind, I was going to have to finish this race in the dark, which I was not going to do that because I could not wrap my mind around how Rosalie ran this fucking trail in the dark.
So Rosalie, you had your 100K on Saturday last week,
yes,
a couple days ago, and then Karen and Ian, you guys ran on Sunday. So yeah, and then Ian was talking about how like you ended your race at night because you said it took 14 hours to run.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start?
We started at 7:30, and then the sun sets, I think, around 6:30. So I did around 15 miles, the last 15 miles in the dark.
Wow.
And every hill I would come on, I'd be like, Rosie, you helped me get through it actually, because I was like, you know what? Rosie did this in the dark. I was like, Karen, you can do this. Like Rosie did this twice, because she had to do the loop twice and in the dark. I'm like, let's go.
But I wasn't alone. And that's really key because the last time I ran in the dark, I realized I was really scared of running in the dark, as like a woman in nature in the dark as a person of color. So I had my friend Jeff, who I don't know if I feel like Jeff is worth mentioning just because Jeff is kind of like my running mentor. And I feel like he's a huge part of how I got into ultra running. So I'll just mention Jeff. So Jeff Flights was my first manager at my first job when I was an intern, when I was 20 years old. So this was like 2013. I was not a runner back then. I was 2 years removed from starting, even thinking about running. And I remember I was like this like really shy intern, and he was like, oh yeah, like what are your summer plans? And I probably had something really like boring. And then he was like, oh, I'm going for my first 100 miler this summer. And I was like, what? Like what sport do you speak of? And he started telling me about ultras. And now he's retired from that company. Now he's the new race director for the Lakefront 50 mile 50K, which is in the spring and the fall, which is what we just talked about. And he was the one who told me about Bandera 100K because this year was his fourth year running it. He told me about this race in 2017 when he ran it the first time. So it's always been in the back of my head to run it. And I signed up for last year's, but deferred it due to COVID. And this year, out of the blue, he emails me and he's like this is a month ago. He's like, hey, like, how's training going? What is your strategy for Bandera? And I was like, I don't know, Jeff. Like, my last 100K was like a totally different race. It was in the mountains. It was twice as much climbing. I don't have a goal for this race. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to give it my best shot. So then Jeff kind of just decides my goal for me. He's like, you're going to finish in 12 to 14 hours. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, you want to start the race? Or I was like, you want to start the race together? And it turns out because he was undertrained, he was only there for his brother. He ran the whole 100K with me.
I don't even think he broke a sweat.
No, his PR there is like 11 and a half hours. So he's just chilling. Yeah.
Out for a nice job.
He's gotten I think he's gotten 21st place before overall.
21st place?
Like, he got like 21st place one year.
That's amazing.
29th place another year. Yeah.
Wow.
But I think what he did for me was expose me to this amazing sport that I had never even heard of, that I never would have had an entryway, and it made me want to tell my friends about it. Like, I was like, I need to spread this word to like people like Karen and Ian, because we need more runners of color in trail running and in ultras, and B, like, it's just such an enjoyable sport and more people need to discover it.
Wow.
That was a side tangent. Sorry.
No, I love it. Jeff was awesome, man. His smile every time y'all came into the aid station was awesome. Both of y'all just made me feel like I could do it next week. Also, I had no idea what y'all was running and stuff, but him alone, he just made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, it was just another run.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get nervous into the end when I saw you at the end, but also you had done it twice. So.
Yeah, it's delirious. I know I said a lot of things that kind of regret. So
it's okay. What stays on the trail, and what said on the trail stays on the trail, Rosalie. No worries.
I like that rule.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, Courtney. Mm-hmm. The elevation that I have on my Strava was 3,350 feet. I'm curious to know what your elevation was. Was it just completely double that because you ran it twice?
I had 6,300. So about the same.
Jeez.
Right.
Crazy.
Our plane was at. We could turn our phones off airplane mode at 10,000 feet yesterday. Okay, Rosalie was like 4 Gs away from that.
How are you guys feeling? Like, what are you like? I need to know. I really want to know what you like wore, what the whole gear situation was. But I like need to know how you're feeling in this moment. Cause you ran it all of 2 days ago, Karen and Ian, 3 days ago for Rosalie.
Yeah. Karen, tell us how you feel right now. How's your legs?
So standing up is a struggle. I have to use my hands. And then when I'm up, it takes like 10 seconds for my body to realize I am standing on my legs. So I'm holding on, and then I can let go and try to move forward in some way. Like, it's usually like my knees are not bending and I am looking very crazy. Like in the airport, at least 4 people ask me like, "Hey, are you okay?" Which I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, who asked that? I don't know. So it's a struggle.
That's hilarious.
Stairs can't happen at all.
Are you staying in the house? Like, do you work from home?
No, I don't work at all.
I'm mad at that. I'm not currently.
She's an educator at large.
Period.
Yeah.
Educator at large. I love it.
But I went out a little bit today. So as I move more, it feels better. So like when we were in the airport, when we had the walking stretches, once you get moving, you can kind of move. But after sitting, it's a struggle. Any ramps, downhill, it's a struggle.
So would you have stayed another day? Like ideally not? No. Like, are you like going home was a good idea, like immediately?
Yeah, I just want to get home.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. Our Airbnb like kind of didn't have water all the time.
Also that.
Oh my God. Tell us these stories. Also, Rosalie, Ian, how are you feeling? I feel like Ian, you're not even,
you go. Yeah, Ian.
I feel like you're not even flinching, Ian.
No. So this is the conversation I was having with Karen. It was like, because, I think once you run these distances and stuff like that, I mean, it was definitely like, I can't do no math. I don't want to count on my fingers on this fucking Zoom, but it's like a 6-7 mile difference between a marathon and this 50K, right? But I feel like my body understands the trauma and it knows how to rebuild itself. And so the first year I ran 26.2 miles, I was like a split image of what I was looking at for Karen for the last 2 days and feeling the same way and stuff. Whereas each marathon and even this, my recovery time is going down. Like it's still sore if I'm sitting down or if I'm like all crunched up for a long period of time. But if I'm moving around, a lot of that stiffness and pain starts to go away. My calves now, they crazy because I think it's because I decided to run in those fucking Kigers.
Really?
Fuck you, Kiger. Okay.
Really?
And the horse that you rode in.
Oh, you spicy right now.
Those shoes, like I was feeling all good about it. And Karen told me, it's like, nah, baby, you should probably get you some Pegasus. That's what you've been running in. I was like, nah, I'm gonna get these joints. I was speaking to Courtney. They got the wide toe box. You feel me? It got React foam in there.
No, I'm not part of this.
No.
I'm not part of it.
Listen to the last episode. She told me, I was like, I'm gonna do this. Eric went and copped them for me. I'm like, I'm with it, right? I'm like 4mm drop. I've been laughing at Karen for like months since I found out she ran in these this 4mm drop shoe. And I think we had a conversation about that. It just makes the foot flatter in this situation. I'm like, I can do that shit, whatever, let's go. No, it is a whole another monster. It hits your legs differently. I told Aaron it felt like I ran a marathon in Nike Freeze. That's what it felt like I did. It was crazy.
You felt like you was running barefoot?
Yeah, 2000%. I felt every single rock. Every single rock in this shoe. But I will say that I did feel like I had more stability versus, and I know it was a completely different type of terrain, but I was running in my older Pegasus in Palos and things like that. And, you know, my feet was just doing a lot of moving around. My ankles was rolling a lot and stuff like that. Where this one, I just feel like I had more control on where my foot was landing, how it was landing, how it was bending and curling around these rocks and stuff like that. Because I don't know about Karen and Rosalie, but I kicked so many rocks. You know, I was stepping down on rocks, and before I can pick my foot up, you know, like I'm sitting here on this rock, and before I pick my foot up to push off and kick, I hit down, but before I pick it up, my foot is like here and stuff because I'm sliding. So it's moving like 3 to 4 inches the minute I touch the ground before I can even pick it up again. But at no point did I feel like I was just completely out of control. And it might have had something to do with the drop, but my feet were not built for that. My arches, not built for that. My calves, not built for that.
You have to work your way down, is what I said.
No, I don't need to be down.
Now I know, so it's okay. That's why I stopped talking.
Look, what I also said that I started with Pegasus trail shoes first and then went to Tigers. So I was basically still running in a Pegasus before I and I guess, I don't know, for me, I also was doing it, I was training with them a little bit more. I like the fact that I could feel each rock, honestly, but I think they have a plate in there, so it's not like piercing your foot. At least it shouldn't.
So what I will say,
ultras. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying I was in my ultras and I forgot my rock guards, which is like an insole that you put in your shoe for when you're in rockier terrain, because my shoes, I guess, are considered minimalist shoes. And so I forgot I didn't even think about it, but it didn't bother me at all. It was completely fine. I did not feel like any sharp jabs to my shoes.
That's also why she has no legs.
And you were trying on those shoes for the very first time that might be in the kitchen of the Airbnb.
So that's what I was going to say.
Talk about it.
That was also my very first run in those Tigers. Was 31 pounds.
Maz was like touching your shoes, seeing how they fit, and I was like, this is a disaster. Like I will have no part of it. I looked away. I was like, I'm gonna just have no.
I put them on for the second time while I was in Texas ever, right? While I was in Texas. And what my theory around this, and disclaimer, people do not do this. My theory was I was going to wear, because we was basically out there all day waiting on Rosalie to hit the different aid stations and to come back around. So I was like, I'll wear them all day on Saturday to break them in. What I would say is walking on them for 14 hours means nothing when you have to run on them for 8 hours. So yeah, also that I that was my one and only experience in these freaking shoes, and it was a wild one.
Okay, well,
but hold on, wait. Can we back up a little bit? I just want to back up because we're like all over the place. I want to back up because this trip was a journey from the very beginning. Okay. All right. Me and Karen's trip started with trying to get to Texas. Do you want to tell them our airport story?
Sure. So our original flight got canceled, which was really annoying because, when you book flights and you usually get like one, what's it called? Like nonstop flight. And then the other one's usually like a stop. We're on Southwest. Well, our nonstop got canceled and then they rescheduled it. So now it has a stop. And then our first flight was delayed like 4 hours, something crazy. So then we would miss our second flight. So we get to the airport. There's no other flights we can get on. So we know that Rosalie and Nez's flight is
at
Midway. So we're at O'Hare. And so the woman switches us to the flight at Midway. It's 3:00? The flight's at 4:30. Mm-hmm. So we call an Uber. We get in the Uber and we go to Midway. For some reason, there's no traffic. It's a Friday.
This man's Uber. We didn't ride in an Uber, first of all. We rode in an ashtray on wheels.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The joint smelled like cigarettes. The minute you opened the door, you opened the door and it was just like a layer of just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you felt.
He also had like these leather coverings over his seats that were like, I don't even know. It was the weirdest thing ever. Anyway, he understood the mission. He executed the mission. We made it to Midway.
Wow.
There was no security lines, made it through security, sat down, ate tacos, and made it to the gate for 4:30 to see Nez.
Yeah.
And that flight originally was 3:30 and they got pushed to 4:30 just a couple hours before. So it all worked out.
It all worked out. And on the back end, we were going to get an hour earlier or a few hours earlier than Rosalie and Nez. We would have had to wait, or they would have had to wait for us, but not we went together. So
yeah. We all tested, women in each of these respective relationships tested negative 2 days before the trip. So we just assumed that.
That's how Matthew is. He's like, I don't go anywhere. You're the one that goes places. So you need to get tested. I don't. Like, do you not go to the grocery store? Like,
but yeah, so I was really stressed about that because like I've been in schools Monday, Tuesday with like high school kids who, you know, aren't always wearing the masks properly. And I was like, I'm going to get this virus before I go to this trip. Thankfully, we tested negative. And so everything worked out on the way there.
Wow. Okay. And then the Airbnb situation, you said you didn't have water. I also want to know, like, did everyone have what they were wearing for the race on them? You didn't check bags? Because I heard that's like the number one running rule is not to check the outfit that you're supposed to be wearing at the race. Always put it in your carry-on.
I think that's probably a good rule. And Rosalie also had the tiniest bag I've ever seen a woman have ever.
Wow.
Yeah, I must be looking
really light for races. If it was like a
essentials
trip, it would be, you know, like a suitcase.
Because you gotta get the.
We're going to like run and eat and sleep. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
I don't know. I had
Me and Karen brought so much shit.
Wow. Wait, hold on. So you guys brought a lot of things, and then Karen, you still forgot your inserts? I would have been tight. I would have been so tight.
Yeah, that happened.
Damn. Okay. So this Airbnb situation, how close were you to the race?
It was 45 minutes from the race. It was like the closest cheap one that we could find. So the race is already in a rural area, like with very spotty service. And
in Texas.
This Airbnb was like running off a shared well. The owner said we could get 30 to 45 minutes of hot water at a time. But I don't know why, because there were some points we hadn't even showered and it would just be out of water.
We had
like the faucet, you found the faucet and it wouldn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
But not just hot water, y'all. Like water would not come out of the faucet.
Because it came from a well.
Peeing in the backyard. A toilet.
Yo, that's wild. You might as well have been just camping. You could have just pulled up to Bandera with some tents. It would have been great.
Well, I gave this person a 3-star because the linens were comfortable, the beds were like comfortable.
Yeah. It was super cute. I mean, the place was very cute.
You know, it had the live, laugh, love posters, all that, you know, life at the lake.
It was lake themed.
Kind of decor.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lake, Karen, but I don't know if you saw.
Well, kind of.
Okay.
She said it's a pond.
Like a dried up canyon. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was giving me canyon vibes. This is not Bandera. This is Lake Hills. Technically, the Airbnb was in Lake Hills, Texas. And that was just crazy. And, you know, the interesting part to even jump around a little bit was me and Karen. This is how much we was out in the sticks, first and foremost, was that when we was leaving the night before, I tried to reserve an Uber for pickup the next morning. because Nez and Rosalie had like this stupid early flight, and me and Karen went to sleep in later. Uber was like, oh, we don't pick up in that area. So I had to try Lyft, which we all know here in Chicago, Lyft is usually like $30 more than any Uber you're going to get, right? So I was a little nervous about that, but I get on that. It's reasonable price. It lets me reserve a Lyft. And so the next morning we get picked up by this amazing Mexican woman, Leticia. I'm butchering her name, and I was practicing it all day so I could shout her out.
I think that's right. That's right. You said
okay,
right.
But I was trying to hit it with the Latin tongue, and it didn't work.
He was trying to represent.
You know what I'm saying? Leticia, some shit like that, right? But she gave us like this roadside tour. Come to find out, she has an Airbnb in her house, right? And it's like help me out, baby. Like it's like on a mountain somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think it was expensive, and they live there too. So like also, it's yeah.
She had me at we cook 3 meals a day. I was like, I'll say less.
Right. This is what we say next time.
I'll be there with you.
So you're gonna do Bandera again?
You see Rosalie picking up on the main theme here. So you're gonna run it again, because this is the question I asked Ian yesterday. Like, would you do it again?
Oh, what do you say?
He said, I don't know. Maybe. He basically said, you basically said facts, but you basically said that you wouldn't just seek it out, but you love trail. And if someone comes up to you and says, hey, let's run this together, you'll do it with them. So, I mean,
someone who, like a specific someone?
Right. You have the someone's right here.
So what I said was just like, the 4 times that I've run a trail, I have noticed that I've enjoyed it. And I will continue to run on trails. I will. Will I be seeking out races to run? No. Y'all, I would never put up in a group chat like, hey guys, I found this 50K, let's go do it. No, I'm not going to do that. But if there was a nice trip, it was a beautiful situation, it was going to be kind of fun, maybe.
So a redo of what you did. Basically.
No, if I do a 50K again, I'm going to train for months.
Yeah.
Because
I wouldn't expect anything else.
There was virtually no training for me.
I think you get away with like one of those. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you did it again for like something else. Like if you did it for like a half, because you said you haven't ran a half. So you might, but you probably will train. But I feel like, Ian, you do that a lot. You just run races. You ran the RLT marathon with little to no training.
10 weeks of training. I mean, niggas be running. We be running. You know what I'm saying?
What's the funnest part, Ian?
Like Rosalie said, your body remembers in 2 weeks.
That's not what I meant by that. But okay.
Doesn't
you just said that.
You're misquoting me.
What did you say?
Your body will remember in 2 weeks, not like what a 50K feels like, but like what regular training feels like.
It'll remember how to do it. That's all I was going off of. That's all my body was going off of the other day. Was like, oh, this is probably what Pilsen felt like.
I don't think that logic is completely off either, because if you're 5 miles off from a marathon, it's just you run the marathon, and by that point you're already in you're in that mode where you could just keep going.
So, okay.
Like a 50 miler, I don't think you can just jump into a 50 miler. A 50K is like, okay, I ran a marathon and then some.
Right. And then I had to get back to the green line, basically. But let me pull back for a second, because I know I really want to hear about how you attack this 100K. But before we do that, to stay on where we are right now, doing these races for the very first time is such a unique experience, because you do not know what to expect. It's just balls to the wall. You're just going out there and you're just doing this thing, and you don't know. I was telling Karen last night, I know now where I need to relax, what I need to look for. And if I do this again, I'm going to be analyzing every part of this race. Whereas this weekend, I was just running. I was just running off field. I was just trying to do the best that I could. I didn't know if I was supposed to be walking up this hill or running down that hill or whatever. We were purely just running, no thought into it and stuff like that. And that was what I enjoyed about it the most, was just taking all of because my marathon is ruined. At this point, like any marathon that I run, I'm going to be, especially to Chicago. Like I don't have any intentions on running Chicago anymore because I know where the neighborhoods are. I feel like I know what I should be running in the neighborhood. I'm be thinking about it the entire time. And so having this unique experience to run this trail that I've never run on before, this distance that I've never run before, it's pretty cool because I feel like once you do it a second time, you never get that same level of excitement. How do y'all feel about that?
I think that's fair. I think we're always trying to recreate that first time. And I think having a new trail helps. Like, I definitely got a taste of that this time around. Even though it wasn't my first 100K, it was definitely, I don't know what's coming up next. I don't know where the next hill is. But nothing will ever be the same as like the first 100K. First time I did it.
Rosalie, your mic is like going away from your mouth. Mm-hmm. So you got going in and out.
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay.
You were saying that nothing's gonna feel like your first 100K again.
Yeah, and you can try to recreate it by picking a different race or picking a different trail because you don't know what's around the corner or where the next hill is or how rocky it's going to be. But that feeling of like the true pain cave suffering, like you'll never get again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I never feel that would be great.
Say that again.
So if I never feel that again, it'd be great. I literally, Courtney, I'm going to tell you this because you'll have your first one soon too. You've done a marathon though, Courtney?
Yeah, I did Chicago, 2019.
Okay, so maybe you know this feeling, but there was a point when my legs couldn't pick up my legs, like my hip flexor, like I really couldn't run. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, did I do permanent damage? So yeah, that pain cave is real. And I just didn't know if it was like normal or not normal. Like Rosalie, when I saw you at mile 27, first of all, I was waiting to see you because I thought you'd be there when we picked up Mark. And I was like, okay, Karen, just get there. Cause like, I was like crying, but like I was hiding it from Nez. But like when he'd go ahead, I'd like tear up and be like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, when I see Rosalie, I'm just going to let it loose. Like I can totally cry with her, like whatever. And then you weren't there. I was like, okay.
All you had was Mark.
I know, it was just Mark. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, Mark. So he, was with Naz talking stuff. So I was like crying secretly. And I'm like, when I see her at mile 27, I'm like, it's just all going to go. So that's why when I saw you, I just like, all the tears came because I was like holding them because I was like, I know she'll understand. And then anyway, so thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Well, I think out of all men, you can cry in front of Nez and Mark in the future if you ever need.
They saw it. I mean, I did. It ultimately happened. I'm like, guys, I'm like, don't ever tell anyone this ever. It's okay. I'm like, okay. But I literally had no idea of that type of pain. Like, I just did not. That type of pain, but like keep moving. Like I just kept going. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah. I think it's like, I honestly don't know if anyone, like hearing people say that I ran for 12 months, I ran for 12 hours or I ran for, how long did it take you guys to run? 6-8 hours?
7 hours, 30 minutes for me.
Okay.
8 for Ian.
Yeah, like that to people, it's like, why? The repetitive movement, it's like you're so far, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like with me, it's like you're so far into it that like you, even when you can't run, you know where the finish line is. So you just push yourself to the point of finishing. It's like you just tell your body what to do at that point. And it also is so mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was ready to stop. I told myself, I was like, you can stop at Yaya, Karen. I'm like, just make it to Yaya, and then you can stop. I'm like, Rosalie,
mile 27.
You can stop. That's mile 27.
4 miles left.
Yeah. And then at that point, you're like, well, there's 4 miles left. Just take it 1 mile at a time.
Well, yeah, but I was really scared my legs wouldn't work ever. Like, I thought I did.
You thought you were going to have legs?
I had no idea.
Karen, you have a whole ass breakdown in the middle of, and everyone around you is not even realizing. I can only imagine. That's tough.
Yeah, Courtney, I'm telling you, I could not lift my legs up. Like, from my hips. Like, I could not lift them up. I mean, my knees. It was a lot of pain.
Looking back, you already said it, that you missed some of the strength workouts that you were doing in the summertime. So did you feel like that was a part of it?
That was totally a part of it. I think maybe we were going very fast in the beginning.
Yeah. It
was so fun. Like, I was having so much fun. It was beautiful. Like, I was loving life. It was the best. So I think I probably ran some hills I should not have ran. I probably was going too fast. I think I need to work on downhill. I think that was unavoidable. Like, and I can't really tell. And Rosalie, I mean, we haven't talked yet. I have so many questions for you, but I think I can't tell. And E and I were talking about this. I can't tell if going in the fast in the beginning was really what made my legs hurt, or if they would have hurt like that anyway. So because of the hills and the terrain. Right. So I'm not like upset. Like, I wouldn't have run it any different. Like, I love how it all went. So I don't know. I just have some thinking to do about strategy probably, but definitely the strength. Well, following the training plan would be helpful as well.
I do want to say too that, like, because we run in Chicago, I know for me, trail running has made me look at road running completely different. And like, trail runners put so much effort into that. It's like, to me, it's not, but it's like, feels sometimes like a different sport because of the gear and also the technicality of it. Right. But like, you can only train for a certain, like, altitude in Chicago. Like, I did my best and would do hill repeats and all that. But like, at the end of the day, you're all talking about these big ass rocks and like just looking down at your feet and like just being in a new space. So like, how do you feel training in the Midwest and then going out into that terrain for the first time, specifically Karen? Because I know, Rosalie, you've done this before.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. And I think that was half the issue. In terms of like my leg pain. We'll have to go somewhere for 3 months. We're going to have to take like 7onSundays trips, like training retreats and train, because there's nothing in Chicago or Illinois that you will find. I thought maybe in Southern Illinois there might be, but I don't think it will be rocks like that.
The Midwest is flat.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to go to the sand dunes.
Yeah.
That's
so crazy. I don't know if there'll be anything that can prepare you for that. So.
Okay.
Well, how do you tackle training here and in the Great Plains of Illinois, Rosalie, and then going on the road and running in these different environments? How do you tackle it?
I mean, I'm still trying to figure that out too. I was actually emailing Jeff about it earlier today, and like, I think we have to take advantage of hills and overpasses and bridges. So, like, one of my New Year's goals this year is to double my total amount of climbing that I did last year. So last year I only got like 50,000 feet of climbing in all my runs, according to Strava. So like this year, I want to do more hill repeats and try to get out to Palos more often, try to get 80,000 feet. And then, like, I was talking to Jeff, and when he did Western States the first time, he said he was at the Soldier Field sledding hill doing dozens and dozens of hill repeats, just practicing running hard on the downhills there, because that's super, super steep. That's probably the steepest hill we have in, at least that I know of, in this area.
Yeah, over here? Yeah.
Yeah, because even like Blue Bridge, that steepness, and the Morgan Point Hill on 47th going south, that's not quite as steep as the Soldier Field sledding hill. So I think it's just going to have to be like a lot of mindless repetition there if we can't make it out to Palos more often.
You'll be losing you again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so a lot of like intentional, boring hill repeats, running hard downhill.
So, well, go ahead, Dina. I want to know how she's feeling today. We never got to hear her.
No, please. Go ahead, because my question was going to be along that because she did the 50K, and when she showed up at the midway point to like swap things out, I mean, she was so giddy. Rosalie was so giddy. She was happy. Her sister was there. Sister homie was there. We was laughing, joking. She was like squatting down, going through her pack for like 2 minutes and stuff like that. Like she was just doing all of these things. But at the end of the second loop, I mean, you could have just put her in a little plastic bag and took her wherever you wanted. She was done. So I'm like, at what point in this race did it really hit you? Did it really truly become like tough? Did you feel like you had to push through?
Yeah, I actually just wrote my race report like an hour ago because I was like, I don't remember. My brain is mush. I don't remember. But basically, the first half of the first 50K. So the first 25K was just fun. Like kind of what Karen said, like the novelty of it. I haven't raced a trail race in like a year and a half or like close to a year. And it was like, I'm in Texas on vacation. It was fun. And then Jeff told this like long-winded 15-mile story. And that like really distracted me. Like, he told the story of this 81-year-old man who ran the Lakefront 50K and wrote a book about it and used to hold like the 100K, the 200K, and the 24-hour American records back when he was in his 40s. And you can imagine this illustrious career of this like old man. His name is like Bern Heinrich. You can look at video and go. This story took 15 miles to tell me. So
15 miles? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a long story.
Yeah, so I was like in the second half of the first loop, so 25K through 50K of this race, listening to this whole story and like not even thinking about running. Like everything was effortless. And when I hit the 50K point, Ian, I mean, right before the 50K point, I was like, I'm so excited to see my crew. And I wasn't sure if I was going to see my sister, but I was like, I can't wait to see Naz and Karen and Ian and Mark. I was like, it's going to be so great. And I feel good. And keep in mind, this is all relative to like my last 100K, which was at altitude in Colorado, double the climbing, where I already felt bad at mile like 18 after like climbing up the mountain. So like at this point in Bandera, at the 50K point, I was like, I feel 7 out of 10 pain, which is like terrible. It's totally fine. And I was like, this race is going to go so well. So I was really happy. And then still feeling good the next 10 miles. So Naz was my official pacer for the second loop, for the first 10 miles of the second loop. And that was really fun because I don't know about Ian and Karen. I don't know about your dynamic, but like Naz is faster than me and he's done more marathons than me and he's been running for like twice as long as I have. So in many regards, he's just a better runner than I am. Knows a lot more about running. But trail running is like the one thing, or like not trail running, but like ultra trail running is like the one thing that I have on him. And I think because it was his first trail ultra, he was just like, oh my gosh, like this is so rocky. Like this terrain is awful. And I was like, in my head, I was like, this is not even that bad. And so I think I was distracted by that. I like feeling superior to him for once in my life. That next 10 miles was like super fun because it's just like, touring Naz around like this loop that I'd already seen. And then after 10 miles of the second loop, so this would be mile 40, 41-ish, I told him to stop because he still had a 50K the next day. And I knew he was going to run with Karen. So I knew he needed to like save his legs for that. So I forced him to stop. And then Jeff and I went on our way. And then basically the last third of the race was like pretty dark. Like my IT band started hurting on my left side. My plantar fasciitis in my right foot flared up. And then I remember like 47 through 52, I was just telling myself, like, don't look at your watch. So I don't think I looked at my watch for those 5 miles. And I just ran. And mile 47 is when we had to put on our headlamps. And the sun got pretty fast. So it got dark within like a mile. And like realizing I had run 15 miles in the dark was like pretty defeating. And then when my plantar fasciitis flared up at like mile 52 and 52, I was like, that's like when you have 10 miles to go. And I was like, I still have 16% of this race left. Like, this is really bad. And I knew it wasn't as bad as like past times that I've raced, but I knew it was like top 3 worst moment of like running ever. But I was just like, okay, we'll get through this. And then Jeff is like, I have a second and third installment of my story, of my 15-mile story. It's like, yes, thank you, Jeff. So he starts telling me the story. And then with about 5 miles to go, I was like, Jeff, I really love silence sometimes. That was like my passive aggressive way of getting him to shut up. And then we ran in silence. And then with 4 miles to go, that was the final aid station. So that was Yaya aid station. And I was not expecting to see like my crew there, not expecting to see familiar faces. And the timing of that was so perfect because like the mile before that, I was kind of in the spot where Karen was mentally, like about to cry. And it was like a weird feeling because like I was in pain, but the wanting to cry wasn't like because of the pain specifically. It was like this sense of like existential, like loneliness. Like I'm sad because I'm sad kind of feeling. It was kind of weird. And I wasn't even, it was like loneliness, but I knew I wasn't alone because I was with Jeff. So I think it was just like this like feeling of complete helplessness and not being surrounded by like my absolute closest like friends and family. And then not knowing like what the next 5 miles tells me, because also the second half of the loop, I didn't remember any of it because I was so distracted by Jeff's story first time. So like every hill that we had, I was like, I don't remember this the first time. Like I don't remember struggling at all. And so the second time I was like, I didn't know this is giant hill. But seeing y'all at Yaya was amazing. And it gave me a pep in my steps. And then the last 4 miles, I was like, I want to try to break 14 hours. So I booked it. And there's, I think one of the largest climbs with 2 miles to go. It's called Lucky Peak. I have no recollection of it from the first loop, but Ian and Karen, I mean, how would you describe that hill? Like,
well, the woman, so the woman at the aid station explained it like this, which helped me. I used it when I was on the hill because this is after I was going to stop and I didn't stop and whatever. She was like, so you're going to get to this hill. You're going to know it's a hill because you're going to know. She said, and then she said, you're going to take it 15 feet at a time. And then you're going to do that again. And then you're going to take 15 feet again. And you're going to do it until you get to the top. That's how you're going to do it. Okay. So that just tells you like how hard it was. And then when we got to the hill, I was feeling, somehow I started running again. Like we were running again.
Well, someone snuck you a little bit of
yeah, I had Advil. Someone gave me meds. This woman was like, here, take these. And she like put these pills in my hand. And I look at Rosie, I'm like, will they help? And Rosie was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I took them. Like I took unmarked pills from a woman. I didn't even know what they were. It was Advil, but I took it and whatever. So we started going and I was running. We finished it fairly fast, actually, compared to what was happening. But this hill, we're going up it and Mark was with us and he had not experienced any hills yet because he was with us for the last 10 and it wasn't very hilly. It was pretty grassy and flat. We get to this hill and we had to tell Mark, don't look up. Like, stop looking up. Like, don't look up. Because he was kept looking up and being like, oh my God, don't look up, Mark. Just keep running.
Right. Wow.
That's how I would describe the hill.
Yeah. And like, it was the oddest thing because I didn't remember the hill the first time, but because I did the second time in the dark, my headlamp couldn't see the top of the hill. So I literally couldn't see the top.
Oh man, that's defeating. Whoa.
But I want to hear what Ian has.
It's all rock. It's all rock. Loose rocks. It's not like paved. It's loose rocks.
It's crazy. It was the craziest thing. When you running up to the hill, it's a wall, first of all. Like you don't ever see the top of the hill until you like maybe over halfway up the hill and stuff like that. Other than that, It's just these rocks that that were nice enough to give you like optional steps, like situations and stuff. It was crazy. The only way I got up it was I cursed out every rock. I cussed out the state of Texas. I cussed out the fucking race. I cussed out Hoka. It was I just fucked anybody I could think of. Anything that I could think of, I just said, fuck you the entire time. And at some point I realized there was a woman behind me.
There's always a woman behind you, Ian. I need you to just start like accepting that, because I feel like this happens a lot.
Listen,
there's a lot more women in front of you usually.
For me, I was alone. What happened? What you say?
Just move on. You'll hear it later in the recording.
But no, like so I ran most of the time alone. And so I was just accustomed to be alone. So I was just talking to myself. And to me, I was just cussing this fucking mountain out the entire time that I was getting to the top, which, mind you, I had already hallucinated halfway up this mountain because I thought I saw Nez and Karen at the top of this mountain, right? Not them, but like these black silhouettes of them, as if they was like in protective custody doing an interview on 60 Minutes or something like that, right? And so I get to the top of this mountain. Of course, I don't see them anywhere. So I was like, okay, well, I never caught them. All right. But it was like Karen said, it was crazy going up, and it was almost just as crazy as going down, because even going down was damn near as steep as going up is what I felt like.
Strava says it was steeper on the back end going down. Wow. It was like 28% grade going down, like 25% on the front side.
And honestly, at that point, I had been experiencing some, like my legs was tired. I was doing some walk running and everything. And my goal at that last 4 miles was to try to catch Nez, Karen, and Mark. Because when I got there, Rosalie was like, yo, you 30 minutes behind them. And she had told me all of the things that Karen had went through. So I was like, I'm going to catch up, right? Make sure she crosses the finish line. That's what I was telling myself. Should have known that she was not actually going to walk anywhere. But in my mind, I was going to catch them, right? And so I was pushing through. But listen, I mean, if her life was on the line, she would not be here today, because that mountain took me out. After I got to the bottom of that mountain, I added 50 minutes my entire run on that last 1.5 to 2 miles, because I could not run anymore. I had to walk it. I was doing like 25-minute splits.
Look, you all finished you got past the finish line, and I think that's all that matters, especially with the fact that like you can say that you were only an hour behind, and you also didn't train. It could have been a lot worse.
It was cool. It was so cool. Like that, like they were saying, that first 10 miles was so fun. It's like these race directors, they like evil puppeteers behind the scenes, because like that first 10 miles is like so fun. It's so nice. The sky was all open. You saw like all of these other hills off in the distance, all of these plant life. It was like the rocks was white, like they should have been in like how Stella got her groove back on the scenes and on the beach and stuff like that. They were just like beautiful Caribbean rocks in the state of Texas, right? And then I got to mile 16, and it became, actually, let me take a step back. I mile like 13 or 14. I told Nez and Karen to please go ahead. Do not wait for me. And so, because they'll run ahead, then they'll stop, and then I'll get to them and stuff like that. And they'll be sitting there smiling and talking. And I done got them like, look, just go run.
Just go. Yeah.
Go, be free.
Right.
If it's meant to be, you'll come back. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So dramatic.
They go.
It was dramatic. We hugged and everything. Like, it was really dramatic.
I'll see you on the other end.
And Nez took a picture of us run. She literally said to me, she was like, Ian, be careful. Don't die. I was like, okay.
Okay. That's valid.
Save yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so they go off, and then I start my 6-hour journey of solitude and whatnot on these trails and stuff. And it was cool. It was some treacherous moments and stuff like that. At one point, we was going uphill while people were coming downhill on the same path because there was like this weird turnaround. There was another point where it was like a path along this wall. And then on the right side, it was like a 15, 20 foot drop into like a situation and stuff. And at this point, my legs are barely going forward. So it's like, of course, it's like somebody just doing this on the side of you. Like, so I had to just walk that. That was stressful as hell.
He was feeling stressed.
Stressful as hell. And something I want to point out to anybody who's thinking about doing something like this. In my mind, I was looking forward to the flat surfaces. There was like these flat fields. There was like these moments where you could like just really, there was very little rocks. It was just beautiful terrain that you could just power through, right? And as a road runner, I'm like, all right, this for me right here. You got this. You meeting me somewhere in the middle, I can pick up my pace. I can run a little bit. Naz and Karen, they were floating through that. Me, I was not at all. And the last patch of flatness was like, I don't know, because I think this might have been somebody's farmland or something, but it was like everything that drives through there drives in the exact same spot. So there was like these tire tracks that you basically were running in, and they just weren't wide enough for me. And so I could barely run because I kept falling over. Like I was about to like fall either to my left or the right because they just weren't wide enough for my thick ass feet. I don't know, but like
wide toe boxes.
Right, my wide ass toe box in the Tigers. And so it's like you get this flat thing so you feel like you can take off, but the flat surfaces were more mentally tough for me than it was to go up and down any of those mountains.
And this is odd to me because this is how you know that Ian kind of has the mind of a real like ultra runner. It's like at that final aid station, I was there for 2 hours because I didn't want to miss, Naz, Karen, and Ian getting through, so I got there early in case. I was at the aid station for 2 hours watching all these runners pass through, like defeated, drenched in sweat, overheating, changing out their socks, wanting to drop. When Ian came through at the 2 hour mark of me standing there, he was the happiest runner I had seen in the 2 hours. Like nonchalant, like having a good time. And I was like, maybe Ian was just made for this. Like, and who would have known? Like, if we hadn't gotten him to sign up for this, like, who would have known? And, I feel like for Ian, this is just the beginning. He says he won't really seek out any ultras, but we'll see.
I'll just keep asking him, Rosalie, because I think I'm one of those people that he may just do them with me because I've asked.
Yeah.
So he would do anything for you, Ian. Or Karen.
I might just ask him.
Yeah.
If I ever run with Karen again, like, first of all, I apologize to Karen at minimum 50 times on this race. And she, like, not to her, but just to me, to her for 50 times. Because, like, Karen, like, me and Karen's dynamic is the opposite of me, Rosalie and Nez. Karen, stronger runner. She's faster, stronger, just all of that. Like, only time I'm not looking at her back is when she's talking to somebody and running slower intentionally. Like, that's it. And so I was like, so to make a long story short, I was just so stressed out about my weakness and not being able to fucking keep up with them because I could not see her cross the finish line. I was so stressed out. I apologized to her 50 times. Like, I am so sorry I cannot be there. I'm so sorry I cannot catch you. I'm so sorry. I was just stressed the fuck out.
That's real.
So if I ever do one of these races again with her, I'm going to train my ass off because there's no way in the world I'm ever going to miss her across the finish line ever again. I will fucking die. Like, wow. It's not going to happen.
That's real. That's real. That's that runner's love.
Well, I was also apologizing to Ian. So I'm like, why did we leave? I'm like, if I'm having this hard of a time, I'm like, and he's alone. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we have to go back, Naz. Like, I think Rosalie did not tell you that I kept being like, how do you think Ian's doing? Do you think he's okay? Like, I kept bringing Ian up. He was like, I think he is fine.
But yeah, that's real. Like, that's, yeah. Man.
Right. I'm not talking about this anymore. Keep going.
It's cool, though. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't have I've spent most of my running time running alone. You know, for most of my races, I am running by myself. I've never had anybody to pace me. And honestly, I'm not really big on pacing and stuff like that. Like, you're just stressing me out. You want me to run with you. You want to run with me at your speed. Like, no, I don't really want to do that. But I didn't have a problem with it. It didn't bother me running by myself and stuff like that. It was cool. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Would have been nice to talk to somebody every so once in a while, or to just tell them that this hurts. Yeah, but it was cool. I was good.
You got to curse out that big ass hill.
Yep.
You know, you had your own time.
Walkies next time. We need to have walkies. Why did we not have walkies?
That's smart.
Wait, Karen.
Yeah, next time.
We need to lighten our load to go faster.
Oh, yeah, that part.
He doesn't catch us.
Yeah.
Rosalie took my my bag off when I got to the end. She was like, "You were running with this on?"
Wait, so Rosalie, did you have water with you? What was your water like?
Oh, I had like two small bladders, like on the front, like two small.
You don't run with the big one in the back?
No, because every 5 miles there's an aid station, so I would just refill. I refilled my water bottles like every 2 aid stations, so on average every 10 miles. But one would be full of water, one would be full of noon or tailwind. But yeah, Ian had this whole thing on his back because I think he only had one front bladder. So he needed the back one, but when I took it off him when he finished, I was like, this is like a college textbook. Like, this is unnecessary. But, you know,
listen,
it was like Backpack Jack. I think that's what we mentioned.
Listen, I had 2 liters of water on my back. I had like several Morton's gels. You know, at the start of the race, I have been eating them periodically through it. I had the option. I had 2 water bottles with me. I only took one to the race because my other pocket needed space for my Morton gels.
More
So I
snacks.
had that right there, which I would periodically add some salt into there, or because I had Morton's in my back, my water as well. Because my biggest fear was the calories more so than the hydration. It's like, I was like, I can drink water. There's aid stations. I'll be hydrated. And so my thing was, and you know, it probably has a lot to do with my insecurity about my size or whatnot. But like, I'm like, fuck, I just got to move a lot of Ian around. So it's like, I need to figure out a way to keep some calories in me so I have some energy to get this big ass nigga up a hill, right? And so I'm eating my Morton's joints, and then I got the powder and the water in the back. So for the most part, my water bottle was just nothing but water in there. Because every so once in a while, I just didn't want to taste that Morton's in my mouth. I just needed some water, you feel me, by itself.
Karen's over here like, no.
I think he overuses nutrition.
I do the standard amount, but this is also somebody who could like run through a drive-through in the middle of a marathon and get a Happy Meal and keep going. So, you know, she wants regular food on her.
No, I don't. I just took Rosalie told me I need to eat this amount at each aid station. So I did.
Yeah, listen, that solid food shit was stressing me out. It was stressing me out.
Ian didn't think there would be enough bathrooms to accommodate him if he ate solids.
You know what? It wasn't so much the bathroom. It's just that quarter of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich felt like a sack of potatoes on my stomach when I had to run out of the aid station. It was so heavy. The best thing that I ate the entire time was at one aid station, they had peanut butter and jellies. but like wrapped up in small parts of a tortilla, because that white bread was oppressive.
Yeah, I didn't eat the bread either, but.
What was you doing? You was just licking the peanut butter off of it?
No, I took the tortillas at the first one that had it, but I also had a Cliff Bar that I chose instead of the peanut butter sandwich, and then because the white bread also scared me. And then, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I was like, whatever. And then, I eat fruit snacks a lot.
Sugar. So.
Yo, Courtney, you're right.
What? The bacon and peanut butter?
Fucking Coke.
Oh, Cokes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
shit, it hits different when you're an ultra marathoner or when you're training, whatever. Like now when I train for marathons, I'm going to be drinking Coca-Cola. It's going to be in the bag, in the car, in a cooler.
It really did. It saved my life at mile 16 at the halfway aid station and the last aid station. It saved my life. Really
I haven't had any soda in probably over 6 years.
Yeah.
That Coke that Coach Ramen gave me, I was like, yeah, I could drink Coke. I get it. I get it now. I get it. I went to the movie last week and I almost ordered a Coke because I was like, why not?
Why not? Yeah, that was the most pop I drank in like the last half decade. Like it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. So the food thing, I know for me, I have to if I take a bite of a sandwich, I have to drink something to actually wash it down because I can't chew anything. Everything feels like a brick in my mouth and I just can't I can't swallow. So it's not so much eating as force feeding myself. Karen and Rosalie, what were you eating? Or like, what did you pack your vest with?
Yeah. So I, in total, had 6 gels, half of which were caffeinated. And then I don't really calculate my time. I kind of just like estimate, like, that feeling when you start to get hungry, that first feeling of that hit. That's like, oh, gotta have a gel immediately, no matter where I'm at. So I had 6 total gels. I think I had 3 Cliff Bars. And then I had 2 full PB&J sandwiches. So like 8 of those quarters. I think I had 1.5 bananas, maybe like 6 slices of pickles, 6 shots of pickle juice. I want to say 10 cups of Coke. And before the race, I had a full PB&J and a banana as well. And then I had like a ton of Tailwind, which is like an energy drink, and a ton of water. Oh, I had a couple of mashed potatoes and a cup of ramen.
Ooh, ramen sounds great. Mashed potatoes. Yeah. I would see like baby potatoes.
It was just like mashed in a cup. Yeah. It was instant. It was instant? Okay. Well,
yeah, I saw the box.
I couldn't tell.
I
was so desperate.
So the aid stations had this food for you guys.
Yes. The only thing
that's so nice.
Like gels and Cliff Bars. Mm-hmm.
That's so good because I think through training, like I know for me, I felt like I had to train to stuff my vest with the food that I would need. Did you get a list of what food would be available? Okay. So
they had like bacon, sausages, pancakes, ramen in a cup, mashed potatoes in a cup, fruit snacks, Oreos, Pringles. Wow. Yeah, it was like
cookies. Naz would have a cookie at every aid station, like a pack or 2.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Heavenly.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
Wow.
I don't know if they're all
banned me from eating quesadillas.
Yeah. I mean, you want to work in the bathroom. Like, why would you do that? So he's lactose intolerant, y'all. Okay. So I was really concerned about nutrition because I heard that one of the things for trail runners is that your stomach can get really upset. And if that happens, either bonking or your stomach is upset. So I was really worried about that. And this is really the first time I've used nutrition ever. Like I've never used gels. I don't tolerate them. And I'm really kind of finicky about what's in things. So I found these gels that are Untapped. They're called Untapped and it's just maple syrup. So I usually make my own gel, which is apricot and maple syrup, but I was scared to bring it on the plane because I didn't know if I could because it's liquid. maybe. I don't know. So I didn't do it. But Rosalie told me about the hungry thing. Whenever you feel hungry, eat something right away. So I was like, okay. I did what she did. She told me to take out my bladder. So I did. And I had 1 bottle for water and 1 bottle of Tailwind. And then I filled those up at every aid station, just topped them off. So they're always full. And I tried to drink at least half of each before the next aid station. Mm. And then between each aid station, I took one of my untapped gels. And then I ate one thing at an aid station. So I really loved the oranges and fruit snacks. And then when they had the peanut butter with the tortillas, I had that, and I had a pancake at one, which was awesome. And then I also had broth, which I probably should have had the ramen, because the noodles probably would have been great. But I just took the broth, and that's when I was feeling pretty bad, like my legs. And it did. It like kind of boosted me up a little bit. It was good.
Yeah. So was there thought into the sugar, carbs, protein, or was it just kind of like, I'm eating as I'm feeling?
That's what I did. I mean, I knew I had the carbs in the Tailwind, the carbohydrates, right? And electrolytes were in the Tailwind. Mm-hmm. So I knew that was okay. And I was drinking that often. And then, yeah, I just ate whatever I felt like at the aid station that I could take down.
Yeah.
That bacon at one, that was amazing.
I can only imagine. And the salt, I love like chewing on salt tablets. Like that's my jam. Orange flavored salt tablets. Oh my God. Like it's candy. It's not like, it doesn't taste like your table salt. It tastes like a orange vitamin C, little.
Is it gummy or is it like
a powder, hard, like white tablet? It's great.
Like
Yeah. Okay. So Rosalie, you just kind of did the same thing. You just ate as you felt.
Yeah. My 2 focuses were salt and carbs. So if I had a banana, I didn't need a PB&J. If I had a PB&J, then I didn't need a banana. And then, I always had pickle juice, which was kind of like my electrolytes. And if they didn't have pickle juice, which was rare, I would have something salty like Pringles or, like a ramen or mashed potatoes. I don't know much about like the protein during a race, but after the race, I had 90 grams of protein, like via chocolate milk. And then the next day I had an additional 30 grams of protein through chocolate milk.
Wow. I've heard so many different things about eating. Like I think everyone does what is right for them. I've heard of people doing ultras on the paleo diet. So they're like just eating fats and what do they eat in paleo? It's like
fat and protein, right?
Yeah, fats and protein. So, and they train on that. So, I don't know about that, but like for some people that works. And then if you're vegan, obviously, like you have to pay attention to a lot of the things that are available, obviously. I felt that like sugar with running has been the thing that like, cause I was trying to eat 45 minutes before I would actually get hungry versus eating when I feel hungry. And then if I had like a moment of like just dread, I'd just eat something with sugar and then that would kind of pep me up a little bit, like sugar and caffeine, like Coca-Cola. But that's interesting. Cause I think I've seen also, you guys have seen the trainer, First Run. Who's that guy? Do you guys know his name? No. Black guy out of like Seattle, but he posts about running. And his captions are always like super in depth, but he wrote something recently about the importance of just running on feel. So it kind of appeals to what Ian's talking about as far as like, I run a race and it's most fun when I'm doing on feel because it's the first time doing that specific distance. And it's almost like beginner's luck and you're listening to your body a little bit more, or rather allowing your body to do what it does naturally. And so with food, I think, there's arguments to go both ways, but I just want to say too that like there's not one way to do it. I think a lot of people who are new to running feel like they need to like follow the rules of something, but every coach trains differently and not everybody is the same. And even with eating and running, like everyone has their own formula.
Yes, this is true. Everyone has their own formula.
What?
Yeah. I think he's.
I let it be. I'll let you do you.
But so funny. Karen just like does homemade gels, and then Ian just drinks some more. Like,
yeah, and honestly, the homemade gels really had my mind perked because I was like, wait, okay, so apricot and maple syrup, like, okay, so okay, so I'm getting like you okay, but wait, hold on.
Right.
So you like, I'm assuming you like blend it all, so it's solid. Do you then like dry it, or you just kind of it just creates a whole gel itself when you do that?
It's like a gel texture, and I have like a reusable gel flask that's like soft, and I just put it in there. It's really good. You should, I'll give you the recipe.
You said you put it in a gel, what?
I have this like reusable, like gel
stasher bag.
Yeah. It's like the things that, we put our water in that is like squeezable, but it's tight.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Gel. So it's about 2 servings of like a normal gel in there that I can fit. So I'll do half and then take the other half another time. But that's what I used for training at Palos, because I knew I needed nutrition and I had to like figure out my life. And then Ian had brought me some Untapped stuff from when he went to Austin, and I tried it and I liked it, and I didn't upset my stomach. So I bought a box of that too.
Yeah, that's okay, dope.
Because making stuff is sometimes a lot, especially when you're like not home.
For real.
Yeah, when I brought it up, I found Untapped right at TIE, and it's like I heard about it. I was like, oh, she can't say no to this. It's like 2 things. You know what I'm saying? It's like 3 things: maple syrup, lemon, and in a plastic container. Like that's all it is, right? Like she can't say no to this, right? Because I've been trying to get up on something. And so I'm in the hotel room. I like got the thing up on FaceTime. I'm like, yeah, look, check this out, baby. I found this, da 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 da. And I'm just talking. I'm trying to sell this thing to her, right? And I noticed like she got this really, intense look on her face and stuff like that. When we on FaceTime, I'm like, are you looking up how to make this on your own right now? Yes, I am.
I love it.
Like, but it works for her, and it is pretty cool. It actually does not taste bad.
It's so good.
It sounds really great.
She does like apricots and shit.
Who doesn't like? I mean, there's people that don't like apricots, but who doesn't like apricots? And maple syrup.
It's just sweet. It's just like a. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can eat a Morton, or if you can eat some other goo, this is delicious. You can eat this.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
The only thing that I have a problem with it, like it's cool if you're somebody listening to this and you really have a really particular about what you put in your body. If you're making it at home, yes. If doing the process, the fruits or whatever, exactly what you put in there is cool. The pro and the con is that you don't. A lot of more and a lot of these brands have for a particular formula, and they know exactly how many carbohydrates you're going to get, exactly how many electrolytes you're going to get within each serving, and so it's a little bit more controllable than if you're making it yourself, because not every berry, not every serving is going to be exactly equal amounts of carbohydrates, equal amounts of nutrition. So I don't think there is a right way to do it. It's just consider that when you're making your decision to do it,
So what did you have for breakfast, Ian? How did you all go into the race? Because
I forcibly had a slice of bread with peanut butter on it, because I normally don't eat before any run. And I was shamed into having a slice of bread with peanut butter on.
I approve of that. Yeah. I mean, I understand there's people that just cannot fathom running, eating, and then running. But I'm like, yo, don't show up to a race. Do not show up to a marathon plus with nothing in your stomach.
I learned that from half marathon training, though. Even half marathon training, I learned that.
Okay, yeah, because I
was someone who did not eat. Like, I loved running fasted, but during half marathon training, coach is like, you need to eat. Yeah. And so I trained myself to eat peanut. It's usually toast and peanut butter because it's easy for me to digest, and a banana. And that's what I had before race day 2. And you do it an hour. You wake up early and you do it an hour ahead of time. All right, Rosalie, what did you eat?
Yeah, I had a banana, PB&J, and like half a cup of coffee. Yeah, I can't even go for like a 2-mile run without eating beforehand because I get lightheaded and I just don't have any energy.
Yeah, I'm definitely an eater.
You know what really sold me on it though? Sorry, Courtney.
Go ahead.
I was reading this other woman talking about women and their hormones, and she was saying the reason why women like wake up in the middle of the night at like 3 is because usually we're hungry. Like our levels are low, our hormones are off because we have a lot of things going on all the time. And so, like have some milk and honey and you'll probably go right back to sleep. And so she was like, there's no reason why we wake up and shouldn't eat because we need to eat more consistently than men because of our hormones are different than men. Like they're pretty straight lined and we are oftentimes not. So she did all this research, and this is like a really butchered job of what she says, but she convinced me that like, oh, I need to be eating because what I'm doing is I'm making a really unhealthy situation, like in the long run for my body. So I was like, okay, I can try to eat in the morning. Like it really wasn't because I felt like I needed it for the run. Like I'd be like, nah, I'm cool. I'd probably lie and say 8. But when I was reading her stuff, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also like not eating just exacerbates any emotion or any like feeling throughout the day where like, I guess, Matthew, he can wake up, have a smoothie, a protein smoothie and tea, and he's good to go. But I guess to your point, like maybe it is because I'm a woman, but I'm like, I need physical food. I need to be chewing on something. I need to sit down. I need to have oatmeal. I need to have a moment. I can't just like jump into my day. Everything needs like, it's a process. And yeah, I'm like, why not? I feel like as an athlete too, food, your relationship with food changes. Like it's so much more important than just like, oh, I don't feel like eating. It's like, no, we don't do that. Yeah, you have to eat. Like you want to be an athlete, but you don't want to eat. Like those two things don't go together. So
it's hard because they're socialized, if you're told otherwise. But yeah, ultra running, I think just teaches you that. And I think you mentioned this, like you saw so many different body types out there doing the 100K, doing the 50K, and very much doing it very well. And I think it just shows you that like ultra running kind of shows you that, people of all different sizes can do it. And so there shouldn't be such a stigma against eating the right amount if you're an athlete.
Yeah. But I'll say it again, for me, my eating is a lot of times forced when I'm training. I'm very much forcing myself to eat because I know I have to.
Yeah, being proactive about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So okay. I feel like we're winding down. It seems like all of you will be running another ultra in the sometime future. I know, Rosalie, I think yours is like coming up. Well, that actually leads me into exactly what I wanted to end this conversation with. Ian knows what I'm talking about. I want to know, what is the 2020 race schedule looking like for we'll start with Rosalie.
I'm signed up for Shamrock Shuffle because a bunch of 7 on Sunday women are doing it, and I want to run with them. And obviously anyone is welcome to join us. We're not like exclusive or anything, but we want to train, do some speed workouts leading up to that. So I hope that's fun. And then doing Boston in April is exciting because it took me like 5 tries to qualify for it. And then May, I'm doing the Ice Age 50 miler, which was my first 50 miler 3 years ago. But at that time, I didn't have a running community. I actually drove up to that race alone, ran it alone, crossed the finish line, was alone. And this time I'm going with a bunch of November Project women. And I'm really excited about that. And then no other races planned for the rest of the year. This fall is going to be my first year teaching full time. So I want to focus on that, but hopefully do maybe a DIY ultra sometime. We'll see.
Are you the type that would do an ultra on your birthday? Is your birthday in the fall? I'm just guessing.
Oh, my birthday is actually in a couple weeks. And
okay.
Unfortunately, I start training for Boston on my birthday.
Wow.
Which I'm dreading thinking about right now.
Happy birthday to you though, because you've tried to get into Boston, you said 5 times?
I've been running for several years. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember the number of marathons I've run to try to qualify, but it's been 3 years of trying. Yeah.
I mean, that's a birthday present. I don't know about y'all. You get to start training. That's lit.
Okay, that's true. Now, training is the last thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I feel that. Are you okay now? Since you've done this before, are you in as far as your body kind of knows the pain, so it's not as bad?
It knows the pain, but it's still really bad. Yesterday, coming down from the training station, I was gripping the handrails with both hands, going sideways, one step at a time. Yeah. My butt out, my luggage on my back.
But also the stairs in her apartment could qualify as part of the course at Bandera.
Yeah. Damn. I know what that's
you need to relax. 3rd floor.
Some Chicago apartments.
Yes.
Okay, Karen, what's your schedule looking like this year?
Well, I don't really know. So I'm doing Shamrock Shuffle. For sure. And then I know I want to run a half. I was going to do the Hoka half again to get faster time. So I'll train for that all summer. But maybe there's another marathon or ultra on a trail in there that might mess it up. So maybe do that and then push back the half until fall. Yeah.
That's all just an invitation to anyone. I mean, we're trying to get more Black runners out on the trail. So this is not an us thing. Everyone is welcome to ask us about ultras or trail marathons. And we need to get all of us out there. We need to take over the sport.
Yes, please.
Yeah, man. 7onSundays got some really serious distance runners, man. So pull up.
Pull up.
Rosalie has given us our next unofficial 7onSundays run meet up at the trails at Palos Heights on Saturdays. See if we can try to keep that going somehow, because that's been an amazing experience and stuff like that. It's either Friday mornings or Saturday mornings and things like that. So, but a lot of our runners have amazing races coming up this year, or have expressed interest in traveling and going to different places and racing these different distances. And it all ranges from halves to ultras,
Yeah. What are you about to run this year, Ian?
Well, I got Shamrock Shuffle, but I got to kick Aaron's ass. Shamrock Shuffle and stuff like that. So I actually got to start fucking training 2 weeks ago, because he been training for 2 years to beat me. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. He been legitimately training for 2 years. So
yeah,
we're gonna see. I'm gonna be training for the next 2.5 months. Pretty much. I'm gonna let my body recover from this 50K and do that. But also I'm putting in my bid for New York. I think the lottery opens up soon for New York.
I like that. New York also has a half, which I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm that would be fun.
You should.
That would be fun. I'm not going to answer this question because I don't know. I want to get better and then think about races. I need to so that's
I think I want to run more than one marathon though.
One more marathon?
I think I want to run more than one marathon this year. I think I want to try and double up.
And ideally, you're thinking New York and...
I don't know.
Okay.
The trail one.
The trail marathon.
When is the trail marathon?
July, right?
There's one in July in Duluth.
Where? Oh, Duluth?
Yeah.
That's where I was born. I think it's a sign.
Courtney, that you have to do it. It's beautiful too.
It's not grandma's?
No, it's a trail marathon. It's called Eugene Cornell.
Okay. Actually, I should do that.
Yeah.
In July?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll be ready
Registration is only $45 and it opens in March.
I love these types of races where it's not a whole thing to get into them.
Oh, it might be a thing to get into it because it's only $45. But,
I mean, like, no, it's like not a lottery.
Oh, yes.
You know, like if you want to do it and can pay for a bib, you don't have to talk to nobody.
You should just get like all gumbo, all 7onSundays out there. Just take over, go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. I think that's a good way to end the podcast. Thank you so much for coming out. I mean, when I say come out, I mean like sit down in front of your computers and have this conversation.
I'm wearing my race shirt right now.
I saw the top of it. I said, does that say Bandera? That's a nice shirt.
I've been wearing this for like 3 days.
That's a nice design.
Show the back with the logo.
Hold on. You gotta turn around.
Other side, there you go.
Oh, that is very cool.
That's like the rattlesnake, right?
That shit, actually.
Wow. Okay. I'm officially interested in this race. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm just saying I'm interested. We'll suggest it to other people.
And it's way less rocky than Bandera. It's a lot more beautiful. I mean...
Which one? Oh, you're talking about Duluth?
Yeah.
I was talking about Bandera too.
Oh, okay.
I want to do everything.
Well, both.
Yeah. I just want to run. Oh, well, no big deal. You could I guess you could just carry over the training.
Yeah.
Fine.
Great. Do you have any last thoughts? Like, do you want to leave our listeners with any like big takeaways before we head out? Because okay.
And it's from Rosalie, obviously. She said, and I'm going to mess it up early, so just fix it. But she said, if you feel like you're empty or you feel like you're done, mentally, you're really your mind tells you when you're like 40% done. So you have really like 60% left in you. So just keep going. Right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I was actually quoting someone else who's quoting someone else. A friend from the November Project. She was like, if you think you're fucked, you're really only 45% fucked.
Yeah, it's true because your body is telling you to quit before it's on E and actually dies.
Yeah. And the other thing that got me through was Naz being like, you can walk, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can walk. He's like, well, then we're walking. I mean, that's like what he said the whole time. And so that's whatever. And so we did. And then we ended up running again. So yeah, those two things. So I guess what I'm saying is friends matter and they're really important when you're trail running.
True.
And I love the crew that I went with. So thank you guys. It was the best time of my life.
Oh, yeah. I already miss it. Let's do it again.
For sure.
Cute. Rosalie, any last words?
I mean, I never thought I'd be a runner. I never thought I'd run more than a 5K. And, several years later, here we are. And I feel like, I don't know, Ian or Karen, if you can attest to this, but I feel like every time we accomplish something new, it like reverberates to other aspects of our life where you realize you can do things you never thought you could do. And so like, to me, like running is not the end all be all. It's like a way to train me for like my life and the decisions I have coming up. And so I feel like that's such a huge reward from ultra running. And, winning or setting PRs is never the point of running. It's always about friendships, like you said, Karen, and also just like make us better people. And I'm just so grateful that like we are able to do this together.
Agreed.
Love that.
Beautiful. Can we do one too? I don't know.
You can do one. You do one and then wrap it up.
To speak to this past weekend, and what I saw and what it reminded me from not doing a marathon this year. I want to say this weekend, like I saw so much like strength and resilience. Like it was so palatable, like you can literally put it in a cup. And the cup was running over this weekend. Like it was such an inspiration to watch Nez, Karen, and Rosalie run, and not just run, but just perform so outstandingly. It was amazing. Like it was and I'm pretty sure I got this off Pinterest, so it might be Winston Churchill. It might not be Winston Churchill, but it was like a quote that was like, now, and it sums up the weekend. It's like, now is not the time for comfort and ease. It is a time to dare and endure. It's a time to dare and endure. And that's what this weekend was. Like, fuck the dumb shit. You ain't no water, whatever. We got gallons from the grocery store. We finna get out here and kill this trail. And that's what everybody did. And it was beautiful to watch.
I love that.
And also Nez and Rosalie drove that Mazda like a fucking commercial. It was doing like 70 miles an hour around turns in the pitch black.
Here, linking all of our sides.
Yes. But beautiful weekend, beautiful podcast. This was an amazing way to wrap up an amazing trip. Love having you both on, and we want y'all on again. Rosalie, definitely want to hear more about Coach Rosalie, her alter ego, going forward. And then because she's RAC, whatever, certified trainer, run instructor now. And so all of us from 7 on Sundays are basically utilizing her to get better.
Amazing.
Here for it.
Woo. All right. So that wraps up another episode of the Runners Club podcast. Thank you, Rosalie, and thank you, Karen, for jumping on with us. Really hope you come back, because we know it was a struggle to get you here, and we just really appreciate it. But with that, we're going to let you go, and I guess we'll talk to y'all, as in the audience, later. Next week.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Thank you.
Peace.